Hey, everybody. And guess what? Mr. Bobb, my former boss and longtime friend, is in for Ray Bobbitt, both partners of the African American Sports Entertainment Group, about the big news regarding the WNBA. And Robert, thank you for sending the term sheet and the information. Tell my viewers where you all are at with bringing WNBA to Oakland.
Well, I think Ray Bobbitt and Bill Duffy and Shonda Scott have been handling those discussions with the WNBA executive. I've been involved with the contract, having been a former member of the JPA, and we've had an excellent meeting with the current interim executive director of the NBA and the executive who manages the Oakland Coliseum. And so the term sheet is really an opportunity for the Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group to put in place a contract that between the Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group and the JPA as we pursue a WNBA franchise that would be majority owned by African American females. And so that really is our goal. But the first step in the process is to have the conversation with the WNBA, which is ongoing, but it's really in its preliminary stage. But most importantly, to put the platform in place so that when it happens, the African American Sports and Entertainment Group will already have had a contract, as it were, with the JPA. As you know, Vinny, many times someone goes out and pursue, let's say it's a franchise, but they have no place to play.
Right.
So we're not putting the apple before the cart. I mean, we're just putting in place the same concept that we would put in place were we as we go in pursuit of an NFL franchise, were that to happen as well. So that's why, the interest that our proposal before the city council is so important with respect to the Oakland Coliseum complex and the potential for a mega development opportunity there that's headed by an African American group.
Hey, clarify something for me. Someone's going to ask. I was always under the impression that the Warriors had, for want of a better term, first dibs on bringing a WNBA team into the Bay Area. Did you all get a go-ahead from them, or is that not necessary because they left Oakland, or how does that work?
No, we've not had any. I'm not aware of our team who's leading this effort have had any conversation with the Warriors. I would add, though, that discussion did come up when we met with the WNBA, the JPA's interim executive director. But there's been no conversations at all, nor are we aware of any conversation between the Warriors organization and WNBA. I would think, though, that were that to be the case, it would have come up during those discussions that Ray Bobbitt, Bill Duffy, Shonda Scott has had with the executive director of the WNBA.
Yeah, and I think also that the Warriors still have moorings and headquarters in Oakland and activities. I think it would actually be nasty for them to stand in the way of the WNBA at the arena. It's a wonderful thing for Oakland to have. But you said the magic words that I want to come back and have our ears take in. You said a majority African American female group will own the organization, right?
That is our goal. That is absolutely our goal. The same goal that we have is that having where the NFL will be successful in that pursuit, to have a majority-owned African American group that would own it. That's the same goal that we have, with the WNBA. Just think about it. Then you know this better than anyone. There is no easier access to sports and entertainment in the Bay Area that's equal, and that includes San Francisco, that's equal to the Oakland Coliseum. The airport is nearby. I would say the airport is within walking distance of the stadium. You have the airport connector, you have 880, you have BART, you have Amtrak. I mean, it is just one of the easiest locations in the Bay Area upon which to go and enjoy, professional sports as well as other entertainment as well.
Hey, by the way, any more with athletics regarding this? Because I just put out a spreadsheet because other consultants haven't put out anything regarding Howard Terminal. And in crunching the numbers, I realized that there was enough money to actually, as per SB 293 Skinner, put money down into East Oakland and the Coliseum and actually fix that infrastructure sea level problem to help you all build not just the platform, but straighten out, I-880 and access and the airport and everything else. Has anyone talked with you about the ways to talk? Because some people are pitting this as downtown versus East Oakland, which, in my view, is not even a real comparison because they both can be done at the same time. What are your thoughts?
I shared the spreadsheet that you put together with my team. With our team. I mean, you've done and as I indicated to them, I mean, there's no one who's better at putting together these spreadsheets, no matter who in the one, no matter what other consulting group they hire, whether it's PFM or whether it's Deloitte or Goldman Sachs. I mean, let me just put it this way: you're kind of like a self-appointed expert in those areas, and I'm not trying to blow smoke at you at all, but we need to pay attention to those numbers and to that knowledge. Period.
As hot as it is in this room, that smoke is needed.
Yeah, I mean, what you put together is not smoke and mirrors. I would say this, and so that's why I shared it with our group.
Thank you.
Now, if I can put my municipal hat on for a second and step aside from the Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group and look at it purely from a municipal standpoint, I would say that this is really a sentinel moment in Oakland's history, both with the AIDS and its pursuit of Howard Terminal, and the Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group and its pursuit of the city's interest in a Coliseum complex. So if you take the numbers that you put together, and if we all came together at the table, there's a certain amount of magic that could be generated, both for the city of Oakland as well as for the residents of Oakland, and it would be an opportunity to recognize the fact that African Americans in Oakland and other places around the country really have not had an opportunity for a substantial major development of this nature, and with the vision that we have. So it just seems to me that rather than fight it, our proposal, there's an opportunity for the Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group and the city government and its leaders, including the city council, the mayor's office, city administrator's office, and the Oakland Athletics. It's like, let's all have a summit, put us all in a room together, and let's figure this thing out together. Zinni, you remember this, during the apartheid when Quincy Jones brought all of those superstar musicians together and they produced this "We Are the World" song, right? You recall that, and I'm told that Quincy put a sign outside and said, "Leave your egos at the door." I mean, that's what I've been told, and just think about the magic that would be, and this phenomenal opportunity on equity, on community, on entertainment, if the city council, the mayor, the Oakland Athletics and its leadership, the Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group, were we all to come together, someone would probably have to chair it. And we said, look, we all have interests, but the one interest we have, which is not a competing interest, is to forge something that's great and good for the city of Oakland and its residents. And of course, our proposal is more than just bricks and mortar and sports. There's a human component to it. There's an equity side of what we're proposing. And it moves beyond the Coliseum into the community, into East Oakland. You know, for all the years that I was in Oakland and many more years that you were in Oakland, that Oakland Coliseum has been just an island. No one can tell me to this day that with the Raiders and with the Oakland Athletics, with all of the activities on that particular site, that the citizens in East Oakland, but for their commitment to these organizations and the few jobs that were generated, that there has been any major improvements in those neighborhoods pursuant to the economics that were generated as a result of those teams playing at the Oakland Coliseum. And that's the paradigm shift that we, with the Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group, that's the paradigm shift that we intended to make. Now, I know that now we're on an agenda for the 20th, and I'm certain that, other developers are going to parachute out of Mars, and they're going to approach the city of Oakland, and they're going to say, well, this group's offering you 92 million. We're going to offer you 130 million. We're going to offer you 150 million without any plan whatsoever. And as you and I both know, from a development standpoint, no one is going to develop that site with a title that has not been cured.
Right.
So if someone comes in and says to the city of Oakland, if our city manager or city administrator and was in charge of advising the mayor on development, and someone comes in and says, we're going to give you 130 million no matter what, that's pie in the sky. Candidly, it's it's really pie in the sky, because even our group recognizes the fact that the Oakland Athletics will be on that site. They own 50% of the site. They're going to be there with baseball until 2024, 2027, who knows, maybe 2030. So nothing is going to happen. So the talent has to be cured by the city. So it would be nothing but a land grab. I mean, all money is not good money. When you look to the long-term development of what's great for the community. We have, much like what you've done in your spreadsheet to show for the athletics, we've done something very similar with respect to the Oakland Coliseum site. Now that we've seen your numbers, we're going to further improve what we have done. And our team of real estate experts, we've expanded it, our team, with other real estate experts and developer experts, led by Alan Jones, who is the premier developer, African American developer in Oakland, and should not ever be dismissed as such. I mean, so we have on our team individuals who have, been to the school of hard knocks, understand municipal government, understand development, understand how to raise money for this development, how to negotiate contract. In those places where we have a modicum of a weakness in our team, we'll find an expert to bring to come along with us. So I've had a chance to look at the disparities study in Oakland that was most recently completed by Dr. Eleanor Ramsey, and it's not pretty. It's not good. It doesn't speak to opportunities for Black and Brown residents of that community and in the economic opportunities that are there. So My hope and dream would be, and I know for a fact, 100%, that our team would embrace it. Bring the mayor together, the city administrator, the city's economic development people, the Oakland Athletic and its leadership, and what it wants to do. Bring us together. Let's sit at the table in the next week or two, and before the 20th, and have a summit and come to an agreement on how we can perform together on a generational project. Both projects are generational, and the city wins. Period. And the county, I would add, are a major player as well. So they can't be, you can't dismiss the fact that Alameda County is also important to this endeavor as well.
Hey, talk me down from a thought that I've had for some time. I'm happy to be wrong about this, but it's been my impression that the African American Sports Entertainment Group has been used by the city of Oakland to essentially sell the availability of the property in the hopes of making a deal with some other person / organization than the African American Sports Entertainment Group, as opposed to saying, hey, this is a great, litmus test. Let's see how far they go. And once they get to an X point, we're going to basically just deal with them and shut off the competition. They haven't really shut off the competition. Am I wrong in thinking this?
No, you're not wrong at all. I mean, I don't know what the city's intentions are. All I know is that, we've been hard at work. We have had 20, 30 plus community meetings, and we've met with the community. We've met with labor organizations. We've met with the Teamsters. Literally, we've met with every organization in East Oakland and in Oakland in general. So we've done the heavy lifting with the community, and better than I. Oakland is not a place where you have a shy set of residents. They will tell it exactly how it is, no matter who comes to the table. We just Ray Bobbitt just attended a meeting at, I think it was Castlemont High School, where students put together their vision of what should happen at the Oakland Coliseum site. I might also add one part of reading your blog that I became familiar with, and have now taken it to our group, and they are very familiar with it, is this whole issue of, the question I raised on the table the other day with our team is that where we witness that the whole area is going to be underwater in the next 50 years. And so our architects, to their credit, they've already planned for that. They've already planned on how to address that, both on the I think on the west side of the site and on the east side of the site. I mean, they've already made those plans for that.
Awesome.
So so we have a lot of individuals who have spent a boatload of personal capital in pursuing this effort. The WNBA would be just a phenomenal franchise to have. Can you imagine, much like here in DC, we have hockey, we have professional football, although they are outside in Montgomery and Prince George's County is still a Washington football team. We have our WNBA team, we have our hockey team, we have our baseball team. And it's just exciting. And so the time could not be more perfect than it is currently for these things to happen. But it's going to take not people firing, intellectual shots at each other, or or the city saying, well, let's look at everybody because this group doesn't know what the hell is doing, which we would very much be opposed to, or the athletics having their doubts as to whether or not we have the capacity to pull it off. And the thing that really ticks me off the most is that when African Americans come to the table to advance in a development, the first thing that's asked by, and we have this by city officials, is, well, where's that money going to come from? It's the first thing that asks. The same question is never, ever raised with respect to non-African American developers, in particular Anglo developers who come to the table with their plans. I've been at those tables, and those questions isn't asked where the money is going to come from. It's assumed that they have the resources. But when our team comes to the table, the first thing that's asked is, well, where are they going to get the money from?
That's a great point you're right, because, and I want to praise what, well, I just have to say it. What Las Vegas has done with Jackie Robinson and trying to build an WNBA, excuse me, an NBA, not WNBA, but NBA arena. The media, I should be more blunt, the media doesn't look like me, has questioned his financing. They didn't listen to that. They simply gave him the right to develop at a prime site and raise the money. And I say that because if it's always but for the racism that stops any qualified African-American developer from getting a chance. I mean, let me explain in the context of the A's project. You're going to have approximately, at the high end, $2.6 billion of tax increment financing money available at a 4% rate of growth at Howard Terminal. As a side note, the average rate of growth historically down there has been 7%. Okay, the county can increase the assessed value annually by 2%. So growth is pretty much guaranteed. If you raise $670 million and toward a stadium or a ballpark down there, which the A's have to do a private placement bond, guess what? They've got access to $445 million of that subsidy for the infrastructure. They have, by right to develop, the potential to gain $1.5 billion in sponsorships. My point is, it's always good for the city giving an African American developer an opportunity if that African American developer has assembled all the right players, made the right legislative steps, cured relationships, as you all have done with the community. You all have done that. And so basically, there is no difference between yourself and the athletics, especially now that you have the WNBA as a partner, which could lead to other things. All right. The athletics have Major League Baseball, which is doing $100 million. You could attract a billionaire, a black billionaire from anywhere like that once you get the go ahead.
Yeah, getting the go ahead is super important. I actually like the fact. I mean, I saw the rendering that the A's has for its downtown ballpark. No matter how I feel about it, it doesn't matter. I just happen, to love baseball, and getting a new baseball stadium downtown is, was always one of my dreams when I was in Oakland. And so what I see the A's are proposing at Howard Terminal, that they can get over all of the other hurdles that every developer has to get through over. You can talk about bookmarking two areas for major development at Howard Terminal, at the Oakland Coliseum site, and then creating opportunities for development to merge over a period of years, from east to west, as it were. I mean, you just have to be able to create a vision.
Right.
And so the strength of our team also is the fact that, hey, look, I might be in DC, but you have native Oaklanders leading this charge, in Bobbitt, and Shonda Scott, and Alan Jones. These individuals on our team, they breathe, live, their whole livelihood, their world is built around Oakland. And of course, you have Bill Duffy from the Bay Area. And so And Loop Capital is not some fly-by-night company, you know. So what we said in our proposal here, we'll put up $5 million. It's there, but we want to make as a, so our term sheet speaks to itself, and it's, you can get things done where billionaires uses other people capital to build their wealth.
Right.
And so we can raise capital given the opportunity. And that's all we're asking the city council and the mayor's office is to give us the same opportunity that's been given. And I use the word given to other developers whose doors were easily opened at City Hall and say, come on in, we're going to embrace your idea and your concept. No one has come to us and said, hey, you know what? We're going to embrace your concept. We're going to embrace what you're doing. It has been the community which has embraced us. The fact that we're moving forward. I mean, it's a little mind-numbing, as it were, because everyone wants the best for the community, and for the city of Oakland. I mean, it's a great town. Believe me, my youngest son, has the 5'10" tattoo. My oldest son, I mean, they live and breathe Oakland. So Oakland is in their blood, and I personally, I would like to see nothing better than for the city. Let me make my final comment, Jenny. The summit that I called for, I think if they wanted it to happen, bring the principals together, AASEG, Oakland African American Sports and Entertainment Group, the city council, the city lawyers. Let's hammer this thing out, and I hope the city doesn't say, oh, you know what, let's take their project off of the 20th agenda. It's going to mess up things. This government is not always easy. It's messy. So let's be brave men and women of intellect, and let's do what's right for the community.
Hey, Kev Cole has a question. He says, how confident are you that the WNBA team can be present in Oakland?
Oh, I'm very confident if we find the right ownership, and that's what we're doing. Is we're putting a platform, this is really great because that's an excellent question, because we in our discussion we said, we have the facility, we don't have to go out and build an arena, right? We have an arena which is noted for sports and entertainment, and in particular basketball, because believe it or not, whether the Warriors are in San Francisco, but they actually branded the Oakland Coliseum, right? So, and I'll go back to the point of I'll go back to my point with respect to the best location for easy access for sportsmen to come to the Coliseum. So, we have an ownership group. We're laying the foundation. So if the WNBA and hopefully some, African-American female-led group would express an interest, work with the WNBA, we've already provided the platform. We know what the requirements are, and our term sheet that you have, represent those preliminary discussions that's been held with the WNBA.
I think it should be noted, because you don't hear this at all, but Oakland Arena really is the Canyon of Champions.
Yeah.
There's, outside of perhaps, Candlestick has been torn down. So there you go, right? There's no other place in the Bay Area that can lay claim to be in the Canyon of Champions in except Oakland Arena. It's right there.
Well, also the Oakland, the Coliseum for baseball.
Yeah.
Because the A's won championships over the years playing in that stadium. So that whole site is is wrought with championships, national championships, and also with sport heroes. Because one of our goals is in our plan is to recognize the Oakland sport heroes, the Bill Russells of the world and others who grew up in Oakland, who became legends in the sports world, but they were Oakland natives.
Hey, it occurs to me too that perhaps we should get rolling on a kind of a Hall of Fame that also recognizes Japanese, Chinese, Latino heroes, and Black heroes, but all together. Because I think too often in our history, we haven't gotten together, but the reality is we're very much together, right? But in sports, there's a rich history of camaraderie that's not told, and but at this time, the way kids are coming up and getting together, they'd love to see them,
Yeah, I remember someone saying that there are two things in the world that's totally bilingual: sports and music.
Yes, absolutely.
I heard someone say that, and it's true. Those two things are totally bilingual.
Hey, as we close, we've got some of our viewers offering suggestions. Deshaun Dixon, famed architect, actually says you should talk to Williams sisters and Beyonce about WNBA ownership. Kev Cole says, I know Sierra and Russell Wilson are part of bringing Seattle an NBA team. Maybe they can be folks you can reach out to. When I first read that, I thought I know them and I'll get them for you. And then Deshaun Dixon says 4 for A's in terms of championships, 4 for Warriors. Hey, Mr. Bobb, thank you for your time. Got you for 30 minutes plus, and that's a blessing. Hey, come on back.
Well, thank you, and I can tell you that your reach is far and wide, and so I'm hoping. My hope, my goal, my prayer is that our group, the Oakland Athletics, the city government, and the city council can all come together and form a relationship over the next few weeks where we can all walk step together with respect to what's great for Oakland and put aside, push out all of the noise that comes with trying to get anything done in government. So Zenny, I thank you for for this opportunity to speak with you at 1:05 a.m. in the morning here in DC. So say hi to your mom. Tell her I love her.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's 1:05 here in Fayette County, Georgia, too. Stick around a little bit, folks. We'll be back. I'm going to talk more about the spreadsheet that Mr. Bobbitt talked about briefly. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com and visit Zenny62media.com. By the way, that's our corporate headquarters site. That ends this broadcast.